Are you dealing with vertigo? It's a scary thing, very disorienting. Today, we're going to talk about what are the common causes for vertigo, why most treatments fail, and how you can use the stretch and release technique to help resolve those issues. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, don't forget about my book. It's on Amazon, and it's the manual to help you understand how your muscles work. What's nice about this book is there's a QR code inside that you can get to the videos that we have here on the YouTube channel, and that's going to help you walk through what I'm talking about in this book. Plus there's sections on nutrition, and there's sections on why traditional treatments don't necessarily work so well. But this is a great place to begin, and then we can go from there. Make sure that you leave me a review when you buy the book, and also don't forget, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you can keep getting this information every week. Welcome back to the Muscle Repair Shop. So let's dive right in. Vertigo affects millions of people every year. It can be very disorienting. You can feel dizzy, out of sorts when you stand up, sit down, lay down. It doesn't matter what position your body's in. But the truth about it is that your brain is in a very weird mode, and you can actually feel nauseous from the dizziness of vertigo. So let's dive into what are some of the causes of it, because there's several reasons for that. So let's start with number one, is typically poor posture. Now, if you sit in recliners a lot, if you have reclining seats in your car, if you sort of slouch in your chair, remember mom always said never slouch in your chair, but you slouch in your chair. Working on computers, looking at cell phones in your hand, what happens is that the muscles on the outside of the chest start to tighten, which rounds the shoulders in, which pulls the head forward. With that head being pulled forward, it tightens the muscles on the back of the neck down between the shoulder blades. This can affect blood flow to the brain and to the ear, and those chemicals in the ear canals is what helps to balance you to keep you from feeling dizzy. Too much of that and not knowing how to stretch out the outside chest muscle in the front of your neck, which I'll show you later as one of the simple things you can do with that, can lead you into a situation where you have vertigo or even a spell of dizziness that no matter what position you're in, you feel dizzy and in most cases nauseous from that. The second thing can be chronic stress and anxiety. So let me talk to you about chronic stress here. So when people hear the word stress, they think of the person that's on the edge, is about to lose everything, and is really losing their mind, almost to the point of a nervous breakdown. What I'm talking about with chronic stress can be something as simple as you have things that you've got to do during the day, and you're pushing yourself the whole day long to hit those deadlines. That can be chronic stress. Even if you are going to the gym and you're working out and you're not thinking you're doing it the right way, and you're worried about how often you do it, that can be chronic stress. So there's many things in our lives that can cause us to have chronic stress. And you'll find for a lot of people, especially if they are consistently late or getting there right below the buzzer, they're just getting to meet somebody, they will be high strung to some degree. That is chronic stress. Anxiety, on the other hand, can come from worrying about things that may or may not happen, but in your mind, you can't stop thinking about it. And as that happens, that generates the chronic stress, so to speak. But when you're in those states of mind, the muscles of your body, because they're emotional, will be in a tightened state, just like poor posture. And so now what happens is that, again, you're reducing the blood flow going to the brain and to the eardrums, and you're also messing with the fluids in the eardrum canals, which messes with your balance of your body and the synchronicity of everything. Third thing here is magnesium or vitamin D. You can be low on either or both, but magnesium dilates or opens up the blood vessels so more blood flow can flow through. And if you're low on magnesium and your blood vessels are constricted, what that means is less blood is getting through to the brain. That can cause a problem. When you're looking at vitamin D is important for the eardrums and the area of your body there to keep that fluid balanced and going. And it's important that you have the sufficient vitamin D levels, and I'm talking about D3, in your body for that. And then lastly, It could be something that is physically constrictive in the neck itself or in the spine that can create some of this as well. And in those cases, you may have to wind up with surgery. Now, another common thing is tinnitus. People who are dealing with tinnitus can have a tendency to have more vertigo than people who do not. And again, we're talking about changes in the ear canals and the fluid in the ear canal that can create those problems. So as you can see, blood flow and the ear canal fluids are a major cause, if they're not sufficiently operating, into having vertigo. So when we look at typical treatments of it, what most physicians make a mistake of is they're trying to focus on the symptom, which is the dizziness. If I can stop the dizziness or I can stop the nausea, we could stop the vertigo. And you do momentarily, so don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. Momentarily it does stop it, but you're always on high alert that it's going to happen again. And so it's a temporary thing. And the same thing when it comes to surgery. When you come to surgery, you may find that one little thing that looks like it's causing a problem, but the question you want to ask is, what caused that one little thing to happen? If you don't understand that, now what happens is that it can happen and shift to a different part of your brain or a different part of your body. So at best, those are temporary things. So what we want to do is we want to look at how can we resolve this so that we don't have to worry about it coming back again. Fixing your posture is important here. So by getting into a doorway, you put your hand in behind your head, put the elbow here on the edge of the doorway. Now your body's in alignment with the door frame, and you're going to rotate your body. In my case, I've got my right arm here, so I'm going to rotate my body using my feet to the left. Now, I don't have to go from A to Z to make that happen. But what I want is, as I start to feel pressure into here a little bit as it begins, I want to stop, breathe out, allow the brain to relax with that, just that little bit of pressure there. Hold it for that 5 seconds, release it, come back and do it again. In fact, I'll do it up to 10 times. And what you'll notice is each time, this will open up a little more, and eventually the brain will go, oh yeah, we don't have to tighten that anymore. There's no danger there. And that will allow the shoulders in to come back up. Very important that you do that. The other thing that you can do is you can have your arm up on the doorway where, like if the door frame is in here, you can step through. In this case, I'm using my right arm, I'll step through with my right leg, and that will start the same thing. As you start to feel pressure in here, you're actually going to breathe out and allow the brain to see that you didn't die from this, that it's okay. And as the brain sees that and sees that you're safe, it lets go of the muscle here on the outside of the chest. The third thing you can do, and this is one that I just had people this past week I was talking to about this, really and truly, we worked on just placing the head into the palm of their hand and just allowing the muscles of the neck to just let go. Now, optimally what we want to do is get the head and the neck to relax so that I can use my hands to lift my head up like this to stretch the front of my neck. The problem we ran into is that they're so used to holding their neck so tight that they had a hard time understanding how to just let it go and let the head drop. If that's where you are, it's okay because you're in the majority of the country. But the thing is, in the beginning, just practice feeling the weight of your head, which means that the muscles on the back of your neck, you have to just let go and let your hands hold your head up. And so try that. And as you start to loosen the muscles up here, now the head can come back on top of the shoulder, taking the pressure off back here, which may eliminate that dizziness a lot with that. So those are 3 things that I would look at in doing that, and try those. Again, you want to subscribe down below, ring the bell, and leave comments. If you have questions about it, if there's something that you can't quite get right, send me a comment. I'm happy to always respond with that, and we'll see if we can get you straightened out with that. But for now, see ya. I hope you enjoyed this last video. Be sure to click on the video here to my left and enjoy.